Is Mary Jackson. I am the Chief Executive Officer of a charity called Frontline. We are based in the United Kingdom and we specialise, we support children and families to ensure that all children and families have the same life chances. And we do that through developing excellent social workers and ensuring that they have the leadership skills as well as the practice skills to support children well. Frontline we're a relatively small organisation. We're 170 people and we've been going for 10 years this year. It's our 10-year anniversary. And we've learned a lot in those 10 years. But myself, I've been with Frontline for 9 years, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking about my career and how I started off and what I've learned across those years, because it's the definition of unorthodox. I'm certainly not a textbook chief exec. Prior to coming to Frontline, I had worked in the social work world for around another 10 years, really around how to create cultures and changes that would support children and families more effectively. But I started my career, my only qualification, in fact, is in photography. And I've done all sorts of stuff in between. So I have managed a movie cinema. I have run my own business, a retail business. I have worked for an organisation called the Centre of Economic Policy Research. So as you can hear, all sorts of very different jobs and not many threads that hang those together. But I'm very conscious that what we're all doing here today is celebrating or celebrating both women, but also diversity more generally. And we're also focused on project management. And project management is essentially the thread that underpins pretty much everything I've ever done. I think particularly if I was to strip project management down to its essence, I would say that we are talking about organisation in terms of being able to organise and systematise processes. We're talking about structure, so bringing structure to challenges or problems or change projects that might require that. And then finally, communication, which for me is the number one underpinning factor of project management, in that the need to kind of make sure that everyone is on the same page and that communication is clear. And those three tenets underpin any job I've ever had. And particularly, I've worked specifically in project management across social work for, as I say, 20 years. And that's been, I think, project management within a field that is not known for project management means that personally for me, the ability to bring value and skills in a helpful way is what drives me. But I wanted to touch a little bit on social work and photography as well, because though, you know, where I am now and where I started, and no obvious tangible links between the two, I think I've sort of drilled down and think there is a really kind of clear synergy across those two, which is that they both require an element of science and an element of art. And I think project management is exactly the same again, that we need the structure and we need the systems, but we need instinct and we need to read situations and we need to adapt. Social work, that is, again, I know I keep coming back to social work, it is the world I work in, but it again has a lot of those tenets at its heart too. We rely on social workers to adapt and respond to what every child and family needs to make sure that they get the best possible support that they can and have the chance to live the life that they want to live and reach their full potential. And again, I would liken that back to the kind of point around diversity. Fundamentally, every single person in the world is an individual, and we all bring elements of ourselves to everything we do, and just like a fingerprint, no one person is the same as another. So again, that is a core principle of the work we do at both Frontline internally, but also how we teach social workers to respond and act in the wider world. I am a gay woman and increasingly becoming an older gay woman. So I'm constantly navigating the world and thinking about how my identity affects how I'm perceived, how I react myself, and the interplay between those parts of my identity and how they all fit together. As an organisation at Frontline, we do a lot of work in this space, and I've, as the leader of the organisation, taken a role in driving that work. But we recruit people who are interested in that work too. So we've got a huge group of us driving forward to try and do better at identifying biases, at making sure that we are genuinely seeing every person as the individual they are, and that we have an inclusive organisation that really enables that. So some of the things we've been doing at Frontline internally is looking at how we recruit to make sure that there's no bias in that process, to think about how we train people across diversity and inclusion themes of anti-racism, anti-discrimination across the year, and we develop that training ourselves. And probably most importantly, we think really carefully about, once we have a representative and diverse workforce, how can we ensure that they feel like they're working at an organisation that enables them to bring their best work to the job, essentially, be themselves, but also do great work. And so this is a very live, I was delighted to be asked to join you for this wee clip, because it's a very live issue with Frontline and more generally. And again, much like social work, the world of diversity, the need for diversity, the need for gender equality, all of the factors that sort of fit under the banner of diversity and inclusion, we know we've got some way to go. So our mandate at Frontline is to improve the quality of social work practice, to support children and families. And again, there is no sense in that space that there is not a lot of work still to be done. And I would again draw a parallel with that in the world, or the kind of the specific focus of diversity and inclusion across which, to varying degrees, people are doing work within, but there is no doubt there is more to do. And that sense of trying to improve and push and change is fundamental to everything we do at Frontline as an organisation. And I believe we need to bring that energy to the issue of diversity and equity, and to sort of drive for more in every possible opportunity. I think that, as I say, delighted to be joining you for this conference. I think this is a brilliant, bringing together both gender and equity more generally is something that I think we need to do more frequently. And it's certainly, I want to keep the ideas around insisting and driving towards equality and inclusion being very much core focus of what we should be working towards in our work, but in our personal lives as well. So it's something that I feel inspired about. It's an area I see we can bring about change, dovetailing that change management principles, to the work around diversity and inclusion feels like a very obvious next step. So everyone watching this seems to have an interest in both. So just a strong encouragement, and hopefully a little bit of information about how we've done things might be useful for you for your particular setting, but essentially a huge encouragement that to keep pushing forward, and that we will continue to keep pushing forward to seek out a world that is a bit more just and more equitable. Hope it's a great day, and thank you again for listening.